Alright, so this is my commander deck profile for my Voltron or the Enchanter deck. This is my, who knows what take this is, but this is my second video on the matter because a couple of you requested an updated version of the list. I will have a deck list link in the description for Maxfield. This deck list is completely Voltron control. There are no other creatures in the deck, it's just him. This deck is meant to take down entire tables by itself. It is not CDH. It is no infinite combos of any kind, no alternative win conditions, none of that nonsense. And everything's completely searchable off of Xur as far as enchantment wise. This is not a luck deck. This is essentially an arch enemy deck. Let's get into it. Alright, so the very first thing I want to go over is the interaction, like instant speed interaction. So first I'm going to go over my Counterspell lineup. You have the obvious ones: Force of Will, Fierce Guardianship, Force of Negation, Pact of Negation. This one I include in this tier of must-haves. Muddle the Mixture is absolutely incredible. You use the Transmute to get Strionic Resonator, which is almost always what I use that for. Plenty of other uses, but that is the main one. Then I've got my next chunk. I've got Mana Drain, Swan Song, An Offer You Can't Refuse. Those ones are all really strong as well. I would definitely start with these 5. These would help me go up to 8. You know, if I chose 5, I would choose just these. If I chose 8, I would choose just these. Then pumping it up a little more with Arcane Denial, Counterspell, and Dovin's Veto. Those get me all the way up to 11. These ones are definitely ones that I choose after all these, but they're also very good. Then we have Misdirection, Dispel, Narset's Reversal. All of these are really widely applicable. Dispel might technically be a little narrow, but counter wars come up way more than you think. Instants tend to be problem more than anything else, aside from maybe creatures, but that's what half the other counter spells are for. Then you have the more narrow counter spells. You got Miscast, Mental Misstep, and Mind Break Trap. These ones are kind of situational. I would say very situational, but these two are free. This one is very cheap and actually much easier to resolve than I thought. I've been playing Miscast forever. Always a really good card every time I've had it, especially early game. You know, you get into a counter war, they get down to 2 or less, and then boom, you throw the Miscast, and it's just it. That's it. So I am a madman. I play a lot of counter spells, but that's because most of nothing else really matters. So that's all the counter spells. And then for our removal, we have Deadly Rollick and Swords to Plowshares. So, for obvious reasons, we're playing Deadly Rollick because it's free. Swords to Plowshares, really good staple. I don't play Path. I'm not a fan of giving my opponents lands. If I was going to add any kind of removal other than what I have, it would be blue removal, be either Pongify or Rapid Hybridization, for specifically Animar, because he has pro-black white. So that blue one in the deck to at least search for a tutor if you really need it can come in handy against Animar. And then 2 more pieces of interaction I have is Teferi's Protection and Angel's Grace. Sometimes your opponent wins the counter war, they're going to win the game. You just Angel's Grace or Teferi's Protection. Because a lot of times it can be tough to get around like Loss of Life. Most of the time they're not getting rid of Xur, but Loss of Life is kind of a tough break. But these can help buy you that one last turn, and it really comes up far more than I thought at first. So that's all of my main instant speed interaction. Then of course all my tutors. Got Demonic Tutor, Vampiric, Enlightened, Mystical, and Limdul's Vault. All pretty par the course. And then as far as card draw goes, I really don't play card draw. I don't care for card draw because I don't want to draw my enchantments that I would otherwise get for free. You know what I'm saying? But I do have Sensei's Divining Top and Brainstorm to help throw enchantments in my opening hand back into the deck and potentially dig for more counterspells. Like if I'm ever getting cards in my hand, I want as many of them to be either counterspells or lands as possible. Next, I've got my Aura enchantments that are specifically for protecting Zur. And in order, like when you first attack, you're going to almost always go for either Curator's Ward, or if it's not accessible because it's in your hand, you'll go for Diplomatic Immunity. A lot of people lean towards this more because it also gives itself Shroud, but I like this because if Zur goes away, I get to draw 2 cards. That's a bonus, but the main reason is that if I'm stuck with enchantments in my hand, I can at least play them. If I can't get rid of them, I can at least play them. Where under Diplomatic Immunity with Shroud, I'm not able to do that. You know what I'm saying? So then I've got Indestructible, which is what I'll go for next. These serve the exact same purpose. It doesn't matter which one you get. Then Pariah, because any of my damage will go to him, and he won't be destroyed, so it doesn't matter. That pretty much makes me invulnerable to damage. Vanishing is the #1 VIP in this entire deck, and it enables a lot of stupid nonsense. At instant speed, anytime I can just pay double blue to phase him out. So that gets around Edict effects, it gets around Farewell, it gets around Cyclonic Rift, any non-targeting, non-destroying removal that you can't protect him from with all this stuff, this will help you. God forbid you don't have a counterspell in your hand, you always have one on your creature. And it's just a catch-all, and it's an ability at instant speed, so it's very, very hard to interact with. And then we have Steel of the Godhead, which both serves as lifelink and unblockable. You know, if you need more life to Necropotence for more counterspells, you just grab this. Or if you're trying to swing for game and you need to make them unblockable, that's primarily what that's for. Security Bypass is also really good for making him unblockable. You're never attacking with any other creatures. You just don't have any. You have no other creatures in this whole deck, so he's always attacking alone. So that said, you also get the Connive, which can be very helpful. Then you have Daybreak Coronet as your backup lifelink enchantment, but it also just has a banger myriad of effects. It's a banger for sure. And then to make him big, or just to help close games out, you have all the glitters to make him big. Ethereal Armor for the same thing, and Phyresis in case you need to deal some infect, because sometimes that's the only way you can take them out. There's always these different situations, and infect will get you through some very sticky situations. Okay, next I'm going to talk about the other utility enchantments and cards that are in this deck. So we have Necropotence, obviously. You're really just using this to dig for counterspells. If you're set up and you need more counterspells because it's getting too hot and heavy at the table, dig for them with that. That's just a good turn 1. Mirror Maid is really good for copying rocks if you're in a pinch and you need more mana. Or you can copy Strionic Resonator, which is another VIP in this deck. Speaking of which, we'll go ahead and talk about that. One of the strongest cards in this entire deck. It copies your triggered ability by paying 2 mana and tapping it. So you just get 2 enchantments every turn. You're going to win games twice as fast. They're not going to be able to deal with it. You always want to have this as often as possible. Absolutely hard to lose games with this on the field. Mirror Maid can also copy it, so then you can get 3 enchantments per turn. Absolutely nuts. Grasp of Fate, amazing removal. Imprisoned in the Moon. Why do I play this over other things? There's this other card that came out recently, Amphibious something or other. Does something very similar, but it doesn't hit lands. I like the fact that this hits particularly lands, because sometimes lands are an issue, and having a searchable answer for that is really... You'd rather have it. Rather have it and not need it, not have it. That's like this whole deck's entire premise. It's full of silver bullets for everything. Out of Time, let me tell you, this combos with Vanishing, more or less. These two together make a one-sided board wipe. So what you do is you have Zur with Vanishing already on him. You'll attack, and you'll grab Out of Time. Out of Time will enter the battlefield. In response to the Out of Time trigger, you'll pay 2 blue to use Vanishing's effect to phase out Zur and all the things that are attached to him. He will phase out from the effect of Vanishing, while everyone else's creatures, commanders included, who cannot go back to the zone, as they are not changing zones, will be stuck phased out. And then at the beginning of your next turn, Zur comes right back. Before you untap, of course. And then you're right back where you were, while everybody else has to essentially start over. And they have no way of recurring any of those cards, unless they get rid of this. More often than not, this is getting a buttload of counters. Which will bring me to the next card, Greater Auramancy. You can use Greater Auramancy to give them all Shroud, which can really help because you can give it to Out of Time. Speaking of which, I've done a nasty thing where I'll take Mirror Maid and copy Greater Auramancy, so that way they also give each other Shroud. Next is Authority of the Consuls. Really good early game, slows other people down a bit, gives you some extra life to dump into Necro later. Maybe your lands are making you take some damage. This just helps keep you up and them down a little bit. Great turn 1. Of course, you know, that life gain that you get from this will definitely pay off later when you get the Necro. Rest in Peace. Removal from graveyards, just no graveyards. Originally, I was playing this because of the whole combo with Energy Field. Energy Field has since been removed, of course, but Rest in Peace is just like, hey, you know, graveyard deck, you're getting out of hand, stop. Obviously. Solitary Confinement. I find that this is played really well together with Necropotence, because then, you know, you have the skip your draw step thing that it's supposed to be a drawback, but you're only going to have to worry about that drawback once. This will feed you the cards you need for Solitary Confinement. And then, of course, if you have something like Lifelink or Authority of the Consuls, you can keep getting that life back, and you don't have to worry about the downsides of Solitary Confinement. But honestly, even if you don't keep this on the field and you just get it for a turn cycle, this can be enough, just grabbing this for 1 or 2 turn cycles, to keep you alive through something sticky until you find an answer for it. Done it a lot. Phyrexian Unlife, something I should have put in here way sooner. This goes really good with the Pariah Indestructible, because now loss of life doesn't matter. I can be at 0 and I literally don't care. I can't lose, and if I take damage, it goes to him and he's indestructible. And if I would take Infect from this, it actually makes him take regular damage because I'm not taking the damage, he is. So it's really interesting how that works. Next is all a bunch of stuff to make Zur go faster. So Lightning Greaves will give him haste. Shroud is great. We don't have to worry about grabbing our Curator's Ward or our Diplomatic Immunity if we manage to get this on the field before we even cast him. Ideally, turn 2, we drop this, and when he comes, boom, attack, right? We also have Hall the Bandit Lord. A lot of controversy on this. A lot of people don't like it because it's pricey and it only makes generic mana, but it gives him haste. That's another way that you can get him attacking a turn sooner, because we don't like having him just being a sitting duck on the field for that turn cycle. It's just, it doesn't feel good, because then you have no choice but to just keep up a bunch of counter spells. Then we got some of our rocks. We got Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, Felwar Stone, Chrome Mox, Mox Diamond, Mox Opal. You might be wondering about the Mox Opal. We have plenty of artifacts. We also have lands that double as artifacts. We're fine. We are sitting pretty with artifacts. Don't worry about that. All 3 talismans, Lotus Petal, Dark Ritual, Wayfarer's Bauble. This is, again, another turn 1 play. I was kind of in contention with this. I like having the turn 1 plays, so that's why I decided to keep it. And then 2 of my lands, I got Ancient Tomb and Gemstone Caverns for obviously faster mana early on to get Zur out quicker. So that is the first 2 of my lands. As far as the rest of the lands goes, we'll go into those. Multicolor lands, we got Command Tower and City of Brass. City of Brass doesn't matter if we have our Pariah. We don't care about the damage. It's going to go right to our creature. Don't got to worry. Got our 3 Esper-colored duels. Got our shocks. I decided to only play 7 fetches because I still want to be able to draw into lands. 7 works just fine. I feel like more than that was kind of excessive. I never have color fixing problems, if you're wondering. Then I have all 3 of the bond lands. I've got the 2 blue pain lands for these colors. For basics, I've got 3 islands and then 2 of the other ones. And then for the last couple lands, we've got Otawara. And then I've got the 3 monocolored artifact lands for this color combination. Again, these are in here to enable the Mox, whichever one it is, I forget. Mox Opal, as well as these increase his power and toughness more by having all the glitters. So it serves 2 purposes and helps every time. A little bit of hidden synergy there. Yeah.